I started this gangster shit. Just the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And it's the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello.
If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button and join us. We want you here. Last year, the Disney Corporation they came out in defiance of Ron DeSantis and the people of Florida's political decision to vote in a bill into law called the Parental Rights Act that basically prohibited teachers from discussing complex, confusing sexual and gender issues with children between the ages of 4 and 8. And the Disney Corporation said, no, we're going to fight this. And it was rather shocking that they did so. And 1 year ago, okay, this was, nearly a year ago, this was a conversation that was happening all over Twitter. And to me, it just seemed like people had mush in their skulls. I didn't understand why this was controversial to say that Disney had overstepped their bounds. This individual here just asked me, what is threatening about Disney's statement? And again, I had to sort of explain it and do the best I could to make it make sense. Here's why it's threatening. Because Disney is framing a law that restricts public school teachers from presenting confusing sexual and gender concepts to children between the ages of 5 and 8, okay? Now, this is something that I think, most parents are going to agree with this. They're going to say, you know what, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter, what the changing social mores are of society today, no matter what the agenda is of these people, of the left, can we just hold it off a little bit until these children who are just a few years out of diapers are presented with these complicated concepts, these ideas, before they're forced to grapple with ideas that will, of course, strip them of their innocence. Because listen, when I was in the second grade, it's hard to go back and go, what was I like in the second grade? What did I understand about gender, sex, sexual identity, anything like that? I remembered, I just had this memory of being told a dirty joke by another kid, an older kid, and I was in the second grade, and it involved sexual intercourse. I guess that was at the punchline. The punchline involved heavy breathing or something like that. I laughed because I didn't understand it, and I wanted to understand. I wanted to know what he was talking about. My little brain was not ready to understand. Okay, my young, unformed brain, my skull, the pieces of my skull barely, fitting together. What is that? What happens to babies when their skulls are kind of in 3 different pieces and they slowly merge? Second graders are tiny children, okay? They don't understand ideas like this. They're not equipped to understand ideas of sex or gender or anything like that. They're just not. They're not prepared to combat them. They're not prepared to agree with them. They're just not prepared to understand them. And I do believe that is why, there is an agenda to instruct and program and indoctrinate children with these complicated ideas when they're young. Now, here's the thing. Parents don't want that. Parents are just like, no matter how they feel, no matter what they personally believe, I think most responsible parents can say, look, kids of this age group here are just not ready to hear that, okay? They're not ready for it. If they have questions, they'll ask me. And a responsible teacher, when asked, by a kid like of this age group, like, what does it mean to be gay? A responsible adult teacher will say, boy, you sound curious about that. Maybe go home and ask your parents what it means. That's what a responsible, normal adult would say to a child of this age group. They would pass the ball right back over to the parents where it belongs. That's not the world we're living in today. Because in the world we're living in today, Disney is framing this situation as a matter of LGBTQ rights, as though if you are gay, if you are lesbian, bisexual, trans, or queer, it is your right, okay? It is your civil right to be able to talk about gender and sexual concepts with children between the ages of 5 and 8. And telling you that you can't do that, that it's illegal, that that's a boundary that adults should not cross, with young children, why, that strikes at the rights, the very rights of the Rainbow Coalition here. Now, I don't even think most gay people feel this way. I think there's a very distinctive group of people who are activists, who are pushing for this, and they are treading on, they are treading on thin ice with this. This is not acceptable to people. Why? Why is this threatening? Because it is what I call high-octane grooming. This is overwhelming. It's the most powerful socio-political lobby, I would say the gay rights movement, plus the most powerful entertainment corporation in the world, Disney, those two entities teaming up against parents, against you, if you have kids. You want to go up, you want to fight those two things, that is what is threatening about Disney's statement here. It should be very clear. And by the way, I'm not saying anything about gay rights or anything like that. That's a whole different matter. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks about this or that when it comes to gay rights. This is what matters: protecting children's innocence and not giving them confusing things like sexual ideas that they have to wrestle with before they're able to do so. I don't understand. I guess, like, if you don't have any children, you have no memory of being a child, you don't, once you have your own kids, you feel responsible in a way for everyone's kids. You feel responsible for, the concept of innocence in childhood. Something happens. If you don't have that in your life, if you're not a parent, you might not have that connection. You might not be able to relate to or understand or feel as protective over not only your own children, but everybody's children, society's children. I hope that isn't true. I hope what I'm saying isn't true, but it does seem to be. It seems like this is a concept being pushed largely by what your boy Zach of Diversity in Comics used to call childless weirdos, because it's intolerable to everyone else. Now, I tweeted this out a year ago. This is what I received just a couple of days ago, February 7th, 2023, from Patreon, which is a platform that I use. Understand, this is a platform that I use to basically ask for my fans, the people who support my content, the people who support my comic books, to give me $5, to donate $5 a month so that we can keep our warehouse open, which stores all of our goods, all of our toys, all of our comics, all of our posters. They're all stored in a big warehouse, and those warehouse fees are very expensive. So by using a platform like Patreon, I can use them to get donations from my fans, you guys, and it gets funneled back to us. Patreon gets a cut of that. That's for using their platform. And in response, I guess I owe them something. I owe them a piece of my soul. How does this work here? Hey there, I'm Ray on the trust and safety team here at Patreon. I'm sorry. This new thing right here should be eyed with absolute suspicion and something close to, akin to paranoia. Trust and safety team, that is the HR, that's the human resources division. That it's the same thing. It's like human resources for online platforms. That's what it is. Trust and safety is where you will find your radical left-wingers who have infiltrated these platforms to make sure that nobody who is using these platforms is opposed to the company themselves and the widely held corporate political stance, social stance of that corporation. And that would be one thing. It would be one thing if I were expressing views like mine, which are, to me, the only decent point of view. I got to be honest with you. I don't understand anybody who disagrees with me. I'm sorry, I don't understand you. When it comes to politics, I understand that for the most part, it's a matter of opinion, and I can see a lot of people's other sides of the argument. And we could talk about gun rights, and I can say, well, this is where I fall. I understand why people who disagree with me believe what they do. I think they're wrong, but I understand it. I don't understand this. Okay, I do not understand this at all. I don't understand anybody who would argue with what I've said up there. It is, to me, that is very peculiar behavior, suspicious behavior. So trust and safety, that is where you will find your radical activists writing to inform you that your account is in violation of our community guidelines. Please be aware that our guidelines apply equally to off-platform activity that is funded through Patreon. I'm sorry, Patreon. You're telling me that because I receive about $3,000 a month worth of funding to cover my warehouse fee that you get to stalk my entire life? Because that's where the money goes. The money goes to fund my business. So now your guidelines apply to how I run my business, according to you. Where does that stop? Where exactly does that stop? Where is the line, Patreon, that you will not cross? Look at this here. While diverse viewpoints are welcomed, there's no room at Patreon for creators to promote sentiments of discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation. Where did I do that? I didn't do that at all. That's not anything. There's nothing like that in the tweet that they demanded that I delete here, as you can see. I didn't say anything about discriminating against gays. I said this isn't a matter of discrimination. You know, the idea of the Parental Rights Notification Act has nothing whatsoever to do with discrimination. It has to do with protecting children and abiding by the wishes of their parents. Nobody is saying discriminate against gays. Similarly, I don't want heterosexual couples, teachers talking about their sex lives with children who are heterosexual. I think it's inappropriate. But that isn't an issue. That's not what's at issue here. The issue is we've got to change children's minds as soon as, while their brains are still forming, are still in development. We've got to take control of them against their parents' wishes. And we've got to socially engineer them to believe what we want them to believe. Okay? There is some discrimination there. And the discrimination is against parents. This is considered a violation of our hate speech guidelines and is not allowed. And here it is. For this reason, we need you to remove the following tweet. Okay? And that's the tweet that I just showed you there. As a result, because you are raising, look at this, because you are raising funds on Patreon, we may be held accountable for what you do with those funds. What do you think I'm doing with these funds, other than what I just said? And no, under what circumstances are you going to be held accountable for anything that I say or do anywhere else in my entire life? This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous behavior, and I don't understand it. It makes me very, very angry. So we may be able to look at what you do with your membership off our platform. Yeah, really? You're going to follow me around the internet and make sure that Patreon as a corporation, as a company, agrees with everything that I say? You know, the thing about Patreon is the reason why I use Patreon, the reason why anyone uses Patreon is for independence and freedom. I use Patreon because I don't want to be tied to a big corporation. I don't want to be responsible. I don't want Disney. I don't want Warner Brothers. I don't want DC Comics. I don't want Marvel Comics coming to me and telling me that I can't say what I believe, that I can't speak my mind because it reflects on the corporation. That's why people use Patreon. That is why people use YouTube. That is why people try their best to be independent within Comicsgate, to use crowdfunding. Because we are afraid of gatekeepers. We're wary of being told that we have to walk the line, toe the line of some corporate belief system, politics, PC behavior. I just want to be honest. I just want to speak my mind. I want to say what I want. I will be responsible for my own words. And you know who's going to hold me responsible for that? My customers, my fans, not you, not you. If I say something that people don't like, they will punish me by not buying my comics anymore. Perhaps that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to be punished this way. This is ridiculous to have your whole life stalked by a shitty company, excuse my language, like Patreon. I'm sorry. So I have removed myself from Patreon. I've left Patreon, okay? And I have moved myself over to Subscribestar. And that is, this is where I will be from here on out. I will be operating on Subscribestar. If you are somebody who follows me on Patreon, please leave the platform. Don't just stop supporting me there. Stop supporting anyone there. This is what the platform is going to do. This is what they believe in. They need to be punished financially for interfering in other people's lives. And it's as simple as that. Nobody has to believe whatever it is the Patreon believes. It's a ridiculous requirement for using a public platform like Patreon. Oh, I know, it's privately owned. They have the right to do this. Well, they should learn that they shouldn't do this. They should have that lesson taught to them. So anyway, yeah, go to my Subscribe Star. Please join up. My thing is this. When I left, I said I don't want to lose anyone. I have 519 subscribers right now on Patreon that I have gained over the course of 2 or 3 years. I don't want to lose even one of them. I want to gain them. I want 520 subscribers on Subscribe Star. So I'm going to ask you guys, please, if you are already one of my Patreon patrons, leave there. Join my Subscribe Star. The link is going to be in the description. And if you're not, if you haven't been a subscriber before to my Patreon, maybe think about joining my Subscribe Star anyway. If you're a fan of my comics and my work, you're going to get sneak peeks of my artwork. And also, we mail out a monthly exclusive trading card to everyone who is a supporter. So, I don't know. A lot of people are probably going to cover this story today. I just saw a nice video by John Delarose, which was appreciated. And I think it was going to be an article on bounding into comics. But I thought you should hear it from me first, from me as well. Guys, you know, Cyberfrog 2 is shipping right now. Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet is shipping. And in Cyberfrog 2, the survivors, the human survivors of the Vespis invasion, and the Vespis are alien hornets who prey on human beings, who see human beings as livestock and destroy everything that they've built. The surviving humans have lived in the woods hidden for 20 years, and they think that they can continue living there by being quiet and remaining unnoticed, and maybe they'll be able to coexist with the Vespis scourge, these aliens. And in Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet, they find out that that is wrong. And you can't hide from this kind of a menace. You can't hide from these types of people. You have to confront them head on. And that is what we're going to do. Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet, by the way, shipping right now, so check your mailboxes. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video, and I will see you again soon with another one. Bye-bye.
New from All Caps Comics, Cyberfrog Blacklight posters. 3 new velvet flocked Cyberfrog posters with vibrant fluorescent ink. Back 'em today, only on Indiegogo. Come follow me on Twitter. New from All Caps Comics, Rainbow, the Brute, the last real man in fairyland. A tale of prismatic pain, a spectrum of brutality, and a pretty good dad. Choke slam a unicorn by backing it today, only on Indiegogo.